Everything that Nara Smith does in her videos is everything that the patriarchy has taught us to do as women.
I feel like the lifestyle and the outfits and how they dress and how they act and their aesthetic is coveted, but I don't think it's realistic at all. I honestly don't think she's putting her toddlers to bed in a sequin dress, you know?
Let's talk about the connection between Emily Mariko, Nara Smith, Hannah Nealman, and the Alabama Supreme Court's decision to roll back reproductive rights even further.
While supermodel Nara Smith may occasionally drop a video of her little Book of Mormon and journal, she doesn't outright say that she's converted to Lucky's Mormon faith. She's just embedding it in her content by acting out the life of a Mormon housewife. Lucky, on the other hand, posts about and talks about and does interviews about his Mormon religion all the time, and even has the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints website embedded into his Instagram.
Nara Smith. From time I opened TikTok in the month of February, all I've been hearing about is Nara Smith. Now, I've heard some good things. I heard some motivational things. But I also heard a lot of bad things. When I tell you all the hate for this girl has been piped up times 10, it had me a little bit confused because I'm like, okay, what did she do? Like, actually, what did she do? I'm confused. Did I miss a memo or something? Or, is this one of those things where the internet just chooses to hate a random person who's up and coming? If you guys don't know who Nara Smith is, she's basically a popular TikToker, former model, who's also married to a model. So she basically documents her life, her pregnancy. She talks a little bit about eczema. She talks about a little bit of everything. But her most popular topic is her cooking. And what she's famous for is cooking her food from scratch. Yeah, I can't believe I'm making a video about someone who's hated for cooking food from scratch. So let's take a look at some of her videos. Let's see why people are angry.
After being gone for a week, my husband's on a 6-hour flight back home. And what better way to surprise him than with some fresh vanilla ice cream and some gooey chocolate brownies? I started making my custard for my ice cream with some milk, vanilla, sugar, and some eggs, and then let it come down to room temperature before transferring it over to the fridge. In the meantime, I started on my brownie batter, mixed all of my dry ingredients, and then I then combined that mixture with my dry ingredients, gave it a really good mix, and then transferred that over to my loaf pan, stirred and churned it. When it hit the consistency of soft serve, at this point my brownie was good to go, so I pulled it out of the oven. This is one of his favorite sweet treats, so I'm excited that he really liked it.
That's already something 90% of the population
cannot do.
She's standing up on her 2 feet saying that she's making her husband ice cream from scratch with brownies while being a couple months pregnant. I don't know how much months pregnant she is in this video,
but she's very much pregnant.
And also wearing a beautiful, cute dress while doing that. And also having her hair put together and having her makeup done and looking like a very beautiful woman who's put together and about to go take a photo shoot. And this is a common theme in a lot of her videos.
Last night before bed, my toddlers...
See, beautiful white dress, hair well done.
Before bed, my toddlers could not stop talking about donuts, so I decided to wake up and make them lemon glazed donuts for...
Her toddlers cannot stop talking about donuts, so she's gonna make them from scratch. Which mother that we know? I'm trying to close my eyes and think about the time I was like, yeah, mommy, I'm really craving donuts. And the next day I wake up and there's donuts sitting there that was made from scratch. You see, a lot of us cannot relate. A lot of us can't relate to this, and that is okay. I cannot relate to a lot of people, actually. I cannot relate to half of you, and half of you cannot relate to me, and that's fine. So is that a reason to hate on each other? I don't think so. But you know what? Let's continue to watch these videos before we make early judgments.
Started by mixing all of my dry ingredients in a bowl, which was some flour, some cinnamon, baking powder, whatever sweetener you would want, and then all of my wet ingredients with some egg, vanilla, milk, and melted butter, but it doesn't have to be super smooth. Then I oil up my donut baking tray and spoon my mixture into the little molds. I don't fill it all the way up to the top because they do rise a little bit. Then I pop those in the oven and pull them out to cool while I make my lemon glaze. It's just some powdered sugar with lemon juice, and I add as much lemon juice until I've reached the consistency that I want. Once my donuts are cooled, I pop them out of the tin and dip them in the glaze. And there you go. These were gone in under 15 minutes and everyone was so excited.
Guys, she even made the glaze from scratch. She didn't even say, nah, I'm just gonna purchase the glaze from the store.
Wow,
okay, I see what people mean about that Nara Smith girl on TikTok. Trad wives are, they certainly love to present a highly unrealistic standard. I think Nara Smith is setting unrealistic standards for every woman, because what do you mean you made peanut butter jam and bread from scratch for your kids? A lot of people are saying,
well, oh, she's setting unrealistic standards.
She's basically promoting a lot of negative things with her unrealistic lifestyle, which is, I would say, is very immature to say. That's like saying, oh yeah, don't work out because there's a lot of people who cannot work out, or don't go to the gym and document yourself going to the gym because there's a lot of people who can't afford to go to the gym, or don't show your groceries because there's a lot of people who can't buy groceries, or don't show your car because there's a lot of people who can't afford a car, or don't show your apartment because there's a lot of people who can't afford their apartment. Eventually, some things you do will be unrealistic to someone, and I'm gonna say it, that is not your problem. That is not my problem, that's no one else's problem. Everyone has unfortunate circumstances, which sadly, it's not really our problem, it's the government's problem. Let's start off with that. You can't hide what you have simply because other people can't have it, or you can't show what you can achieve or show what you can do simply because most of the population can't do the same thing. Oh my gosh, I look like a little boy. And by the way, y'all, I'm not trying to invalidate or saying you're not allowed to feel bad because you see so much people with these things that you want, but you can't even afford it. Anyone's gonna feel bad if they see those things. You know, you're gonna feel left out. You're gonna feel, in a lot of cases, you're gonna feel less than. It's gonna mess up your self-esteem. I used to feel that way a lot as a kid. And even at a certain point, like just a couple years ago, I went to this extremely rich school, and that opened my eyes and made me realize the class difference between me and a lot of people. I think the point I'm trying to get across is that it's not a reason to hate a person, because feeling bad and feeling invalidated, obviously you're gonna feel terrible if you're seeing not just one, not just two, but three, you know, a lot more people doing better than you. It's like, what the hell am I doing with my life? But what I'm trying to say is, I don't think it's okay to hate someone just because they're at a certain point in life and you're at this certain point in life, or they're able to do things that you simply can't do or you can't afford to do. If you look at the bigger picture, there will always be something that you are able to do that someone cannot do. Do you think it's okay for yourself to get hated just because? Oh my gosh, am I gaslighting you guys? To make that type of judgment is, to me, like, it's extremely biased, and it goes to show, like, yeah, don't spend your money because some people can't spend their money. No, we need to spend our money to survive. And don't raise your child a certain way because other people can't raise their child this way. No, it's just that you can afford to do those things. There's a lot of luxuries we have in our life. For me to sit down and speak in front of this camera, to even have this camera and have this microphone in front of my face, is a luxury because a lot of people can't do that. But is that going to stop me from doing this? We all have desires and passions that we're willing to pursue and things that we want to document. And I think everyone has their right to do those things. But if she was saying, like, yeah, you have to do this too. You have to do this for a kid. You have to wake up every day, even if you are pregnant, to make your kids donuts from scratch. By all means.
Yes, get the hate train going.
You know, I can be a hater sometimes, even though half of the times I'm just talking. I will get why people is heavily against her, but this is simply just, she's documenting the things she do, and she know it's really cool that she's able to do this while being pregnant. Now, do I think she cooks like this every single day? Hell no. I think half of this is just for content, if I'm being honest, and at the same time, she's a pregnant lady. I know she's not doing this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They probably have private chefs that's doing this. You know what, guys? There's a chance that she might do this just because she loves it and she enjoys it. And everyone has hobbies, and it doesn't matter if you're pregnant or not. You are able to still do your hobbies for some women. I know, like, pregnancy is different for everyone, and I don't want to put everybody in this box to say, like, oh, you're pregnant, so you can't do this, can't do that, X, Y, and Z. I'm just saying, like, come on, guys, she's a model. She works full-time social media, or I'm assuming she works full-time social media. Probably has a management, and on top of that, she's cooking from scratch. Let's be for real. There's no chance she's cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner from scratch. On top of managing an online business, on top of being a model, on top of doing all these things. People classify her as a stay-at-home mom, but she literally works. She's literally a business owner. So yeah, without a doubt, I know she knows that we know, or I think she expects us to know, that she's not cooking all these things from scratch every single day or for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Lucky Smith, Lucky Blue Smith. I remember this man from my Wattpad days. This guy was in almost every Wattpad book that you could imagine. He was always the main character. This guy was huge. I say that to say, like, yeah, their money is long. They were high fashion models. They get paid a lot of money. She probably has a cook who takes care of these things. They probably have a cleaner who keep after their house. They have luxuries that the average person like me cannot afford. those vehemently denying Nara Smith TikTok or Mormon propaganda must not get how propaganda works. I loved her till I realized what was at play. Her surge in popularity under the guise of perfect, unrealistic portrayal of neo-traditional marriage / motherhood is blatant. I don't think Nara Smith is hated for setting unrealistic expectations. She's hated for pushing LDS beliefs onto others and for willingly being a tool of recruitment for the Mormon church. The amount of black women jumping out the window to defend Nara Smith amazes me. If she wasn't biracial, y'all would have no problem questioning her connection to Mormonism. I would take your critics of Nara Smith more seriously if y'all would follow up with the question, why is her white husband still Mormon despite being with a biracial woman? But y'all don't even bring him up, so what does that tell me? So one of the things I heard a lot of people hating on her for is the fact that she's Mormon, and I scrolled through her TikTok and tried to find things that screaming like,
Convert to my religion.
I really couldn't find much. Before we dive too deep into this Mormon thing, one thing I forgot to mention is the fact that her husband is Mormon. We don't know the life of these people, like it would be ridiculous to know everything about their life. So people are speculating that her husband is the one who's Mormon. He's been Mormon his entire life, and because they got married, she converted into Mormonism. At least that's what I'm getting so far. Once again, people don't know the aspect of their everyday lives. She could have been Mormon previously, and you know, two Mormons got together and it just clicked. So a lot of people are like, how are you as a black person marrying a Mormon when the origins of Mormonism when it comes to black people and racism is very questionable? So the founders of Mormonism believed that black people were cursed people. Like black people could have only been saved, they got baptized, and when they die, you know, they become a I can't believe what I'm about to say. But when you die, you essentially become a white person. You become clean. You become pure. I'm gonna play a TikTok right now which explains it way better than what I'm explaining.
This is what early Mormon doctrine taught about black people. The prophet Joseph Smith and Brigham Young taught that black people were under something called the curse of Cain. Joseph Smith taught that this mark was black skin and that this is where all black people come from. He also taught that this was the reason God permitted slavery. The Book of Mormon, the book of scripture translated by Joseph Smith, also includes verses about how the most righteous people in the book are white and delightsome. The people in the book who sin are cursed by God with a skin of blackness. Some early black members of the Mormon church were promised that in the afterlife their skin would turn white. Brigham Young taught that interracial marriage should be punished by death.
If you guys don't know what Mormon is, it's like a branch of, I'd say, Christianity, but not really Christianity. Mormons have a particular belief about women and about what women should do. But if you scroll through Nara Smith's TikTok, you don't hear her openly saying like, oh, you know, I'm Mormon, convert to my religion and all of that stuff. She's not shoving it down her throat. You know how there's specific pages dedicated to Christians and Muslims and Buddhists and the spiritual girlies and the universe and the horoscope and all that stuff? She's not one of those pages. People found out that she's Mormon because if you go on her Instagram, there's some certain images of her reading a particular book, or she just has this book laying around in her pictures. Okay, y'all. So I got that wrong. It wasn't actually what is it called? The Book of Mormons? It wasn't that. Turns out it was a diary. And I didn't find it out until I looked in the comments and someone was like, everyone wants to know what the diary is from. And then she said Barnes & Noble. But she still do like daily scripture stuff in certain videos that we're gonna see later on. But I just want to clarify that that's a diary.
We're moving again. We've moved 5 times in the last 4 years, and to say that we've become...
So this pink book right here on top of the brown book is the Book of Mormons that I was talking about. And I've only seen a total about 2 videos where she brings this book out. She doesn't even reference or even mentions the book, so I still feel like it's a bit of a reach to say she's trying to influence people to join this religion. But I wouldn't say that's heavily influential, because even if some of our favorite celebrities make their speeches and they're like, oh yeah, they like to thank God, they like to thank Jesus and all that stuff. And we all know that Christianity, depending on which side you fall on, you know, they have a lot of questionable beliefs. And there's some people who like to quote Bible scriptures. There's some people who like to quote things from the Quran. I'm not gonna lie. Each religion have their little bit of, you know, have their thing that the majority would be like, yeah, that's controversial, right? So I feel like if you're gonna hate on her for the sole fact that she's Mormon, you're gonna hate a lot of your celebrities who believe in some controversial religions, because Mormonism is just one of them. Yo, her Instagram is so perfect. It looks so planned out. It will make you think that this person has no flaws in their life, which is not true. Everyone has flaws in their life. And for some reason, maybe it's just the negativity in me. Whenever I see someone who's this perfect, I feel like they have the biggest battle in their life that none of us can even can even live through. Every time this happens, some huge news come out saying like, yeah, well, she went through this, he went through that. And everyone's like, who can be Miss Perfect? You guys get what I mean? Or maybe it's just me speaking from trauma and not ever having that type of life where I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world. But anyways, like I was saying, I just feel like it's wrong to hate on somebody just because they believe in a particular religion without them pushing it out in your face and promoting it. Her whole brand is lifestyle. You can hate on her for setting unrealistic expectations, but to hate on her simply because she believes in a religion that you're against, you'd have to hold everyone to that same standard. You get what I mean? And a lot of our favorite celebrities would be cancelled. So I'm trying to understand the Nara Smith hate, and it's just not clicking in my brain for some reason. I don't know what's not clicking, but she hasn't done anything or said anything that's been like, yeah, I see why people are like, do not be angry at me, yo. Do not be angry at me. One thing I have been learning is if you're just a hater, please just come out and declare that you're a hater. Do not look for excuses to hate on this person and convince other people to hate on them.
Please.
Some of us are just haters. Some of us are just jealous. And that's okay to admit. Is it okay to be hateful and jealous, you know, hate on somebody just because their life is a little bit better than yours? No. It means you need therapy. And that's okay to admit. But at least if you're gonna be a hater and be proud of it. And say that you are a hater. Don't try to recruit the rest of us to hate them. Just say like, yeah, I'm a hater. You know, it's okay to be a hater every once in a while. I got my hater moments. It's okay to be a professional hater when you're ready. We all got those moments.
Nara Smith got her hater moment.
Y'all think this girl just sit down and admire everybody? No. Everybody got their little hater moments to be like, yeah, that was dumb. But to be a hater and try to recruit the rest of us to be a hater, nah, it's not gonna work. People are gonna see through it. My conclusion is a lot of people are jealous that, you know, she sets unrealistic expectations. Like, yeah, if I was a pregnant woman watching this, I'd be like,
Ew, bye.
but at the same time, to sit down and actually join the hate trend and say, yeah, I hate it because she cooks from scratch and she's pregnant and she wears makeup and she wears like these really nice clothes and I can't do that. That's just called being a hater. I can't hop on this one. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I know I'm a professional hater sometimes, but I just can't hop on this one. And I watched Cooper's video. What's his name? Before I say his name wrong. And I watched Film Cooper video on this and I was like, I already had my mind made up on what I thought. And then to see him think the same thing, I was like, oh, so I'm not the only person with trip and trying to understand why people hating on her. I don't want to show my face since I look like trash now and I literally just roll out of bed. But I wanted to clarify on why people think, you know, Nara Smith's whole brand is Mormon propaganda and why I can see to a certain extent why they would think that. Last night I ended up on the ex-Mormon side of TikTok and I finally saw why people were saying, oh, this is propaganda. And that is because Nara lives out how most Mormon people are supposed to live, particularly women. And even if she doesn't in real life, she's still portraying it on social media, which naturally can influence some young women, some young girls, or even older women to say, hey, she's doing well for herself, so I want to live that way. And this might even influence people to switch to the Mormon religion because if you see someone doing way better than you, their marriage looks happy and all of that stuff, and you already have an idea of the Christian faith, or for some people who have no idea what the religion is, they might just go into it blindly. Like, let's be for real, we can't disregard the influence of social media and how people are willing to change their entire life just because their favorite creator is living out this or portraying this perfect life that they want to have. So I can't simply disregard this aspect of seeing why people are like, yeah, do not support her, don't watch her videos, don't try to copy what she do. But at the same time, I don't think that's an enough reason to hate her because we know she's not a trad wife, we know she's not a stay-at-home mom, we know that she's out here working, she's a girl boss, she have a lot of things going on for herself, and what she's portraying on social media, or at least what people are interpreting her as on social media, is not the same thing as real life. So I would say just take a precaution whenever you're watching influencers like this. And also for women who genuinely want to live like this in the future, by all means go ahead. That's the beauty of being a woman. You can literally choose what you want to do. But I'm just talking about the religious aspects of things and being careful not to join something that you fully don't understand. And I'm speaking from someone who was once hyper religious. Anyways, guys, that was it for the rest of the video. My camera's about to die. Let me know what you guys think and leave that in the comment section. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you enjoyed, and share this with somebody. Share this with somebody who hates Nara Smith.
Let's trigger them today.
I'm joking. If your friend sent this to you and you hate Nara Smith, yeah, they were trying to trick you. Just snitching on them. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm sorry I've been missing for a month. I've been missing on YouTube for a month. I've been working on this really huge video. It's supposed to be an hour long and it's taking way too long to edit. So I'm just gonna drop these fillers and you guys will probably get 2 videos back to back. Anyways, see you guys.